Welcome, everybody. It's time for another edition of Lunch Therapy.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get myself a modem.
Okay, welcome, everybody. That's enough. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that we can all be here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon to have a little lunch, have a little therapy, forget about all the crap that's going on in the world. How do I live through this crap? How do I do it? This is one of the ways to do it. Take a break. Give yourself a little bit of room to just play. And that's what lunch therapy is. We have a chat room. People can chat. People can express their opinions. We're going to talk a lot about a lot of things today. And I'm glad you're here. So here we go. So first thing we do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Just go ahead and take it in and hold it and let it out. Another deep breath. Hold it. Let it out. One more time. Take in a deep breath this time. Hold it. Expand those lungs and let it out. Welcome everybody who's on Facebook. Welcome everybody on YouTube. If you want to make a comment, I post a lot of the comments and sometimes I react, do a little improvisational comedy based on the comments. A couple of things that I want to note today is one of the things that I want to talk about is enthusiasm. A lot of times it's not very cool or considered very cool to have enthusiasm, but I think enthusiasm is something that is warranted here. And sometimes we have to get ourselves, get our enthusiasm going and generate it ourselves. So I thank you all for being here, for being enthusiastic. I'm going to show you a really enthusiastic person right now.
Whoa, that's a full rainbow all the way. Double rainbow. Oh my God. It's a double rainbow all the way. Whoa, that's so intense. Whoa, man.
I don't know if you guys remember this. It's the double rainbow guy.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is enthusiasm for you.
Oh my God. Woo. Oh my. Wow. Woo. Yeah. Oh my.
Oh, wow.
Oh my. Oh my God, look at that. It's starting to even look like a triple rainbow. Oh my God, it's full on double rainbow all the way across the sky. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. What does this mean? Oh my God. Oh God. It's so bright. Oh my God, it's so bright and vivid. Oh. It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I've never seen a double rainbow. I don't know about you guys. It sounds like an adult film. The guy is having so much enthusiasm. He sounds like an adult film. All right. Okay. Yeah, you got to have some applause for that, for sure. Now, I don't want to bring you guys down, but yesterday, that guy, the double rainbow guy, passed away. His name's Paul Vasquez. He passed away. He was in his 50s, and he's no longer with us anymore. So we got to carry on the enthusiasm. They did interview him. They did talk to him, and they were like, were you on, Mary Marks saw a double rainbow once. They were like, were you on drugs? Because it seems like that's from my secret stash, right? It seems like the guy was probably on like mushrooms or tripping out on something or like really high or something like that. But what he says was he was out in the woods, and he was out in the woods for quite a while. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks that he's dead. It does. But we can carry this on, and we have the video of him. And one of the things that I promote on this show is like, if you're feeling kind of down or you're feeling kind of out of it, join into lunch therapy, of course. But also, there's all kinds of things that can make you happier. And it's different for everybody. Some people, they just, just jumping up and down makes people happy. Sometimes it's different for everybody. Some people, they like to sing. Some people, they like to exercise. But you got to find those things. Some people, Joel on shrooms would be something. That's why I never do any psychedelic drugs, never have, because that would be a problem. That would be a problem. I think I'm naturally on shrooms. And I like balloons. See, Jay likes balloons. If you want to put in the chat room the things that you like to do to make you happy, it's a good suggestion, because we got to be enthusiastic here. A lot of us are, getting a little bit tired, getting a little bit frustrated, getting a little bit crazy. And we have to find ways to jack it up, man, jack it up. I'm going to talk about two other people that have died. These are the people who have died. I believe that's a song. These are the people who have died. But I just want to talk about a couple other fantastic people that just recently passed away. I don't know why. Probably because I want to celebrate their lives, not their deaths. We don't want to dwell on that. But one of them is this guy, Little Richard. And talk about enthusiasm. This guy, a lot of you know, Mary Marks loves steamy compost. That makes her happy. See, whatever makes you happy. So Little Richard, a lot of you know, when I came to Hollywood, I got really lucky right in the beginning, got an incredible acting role. A lot of my friends were jealous, but I had the role of Bugs Bunny at Magic Mountain. Oh no, Todd likes to laugh, but instead he's sad. Well, good thing you're here. So I was Bugs Bunny at Magic Mountain, and I would wear the costume and I would dance around and make the kids happy. And sometimes the kids would just freak out because they saw the giant Bugs Bunny, and if he came too close, they'd just freak. But one day I was at the Greek Theater. If you've ever seen the film Get Me to the Greek, I was at the Greek Theater, which is a big amphitheater here in Hollywood. It's not the Hollywood Bowl, but it's a lot like it. And I was there to be Bugs Bunny, and I was dressed in the costume, and I actually had it rolled down for a while, and I'm sitting in the back just kind of resting. And this kid came up to me, and he talked to me for a while, and turns out he said, "Hey, do you want to meet my dad?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll meet your dad." Turns out his dad was Sting. So that was kind of weird. I met Sting. I had the half of the Bugs Bunny costume on, which is not allowed, by the way. You got to have the full thing on. I don't know why Sting was allowed to see this, because it can be traumatic to see Bugs Bunny not in full costume. But then I was invited to go backstage. This was some kind of a concert for the rainforest benefit concert. And thank you, Eddie Mitchell. Joel makes me happy on Lunch Therapy. Thank you so much. Good to have you here, Eddie. So I went backstage at this concert where there was a bunch of people singing for the rainforest, and I'm full on Bugs Bunny now. And who do I see but Little Richard? And he has just been performing. He's got his like glittery outfit on. He's sweating. His hair is all jerry curled or whatever. And he's just like, and he sees me from across the green room and just goes nuts. He's just like, "Oh my God." And he goes running over, goes running over and he gives me this huge hug. And I remember that. I will never forget hugging little Richard. I'm hugging him and I can see through the like eyes of the costume. I can see him there and he is just smiling and it's as if I was the celebrity, right? As if, Bugs Bunny was like his favorite person. And I will never forget that. So unfortunately we lost little Richard. But I got to hug him. The other person, a lot of you guys are wondering like, Joel, what are you doing wearing a New York Knicks shirt? What's up with that? Because everybody knows that I am a fan of the now defunct Seattle Supersonics, and all of my allegiance is to the Supersonics. Thank you, Laura Franklin. I love Laura Franklin for saying that. Thank you very much. That's a person on Periscope, which is on, Twitter. So we're also out there on Twitter. Yes. So New York Knicks, why do I have it on? I'll tell you why I have it on. Because of this guy, Jerry Stiller. Jerry Stiller passed away, I don't know, yesterday. He was from what I hear, he was a huge Knicks fan. So I'm wearing this in honor of Jerry Stiller. There he is with his wife, Ann Mira. They were both hilarious comedians. They're gone on to whatever other life that they're back together again, I think, in the afterlife. So big shout out to Jerry Stiller. You did a great job. You left a legacy. Go Knicks. Today, go Knicks, right? All right, so hopefully this has not brought everybody down. Do we have a picture of Joel? I don't know if I have a picture. What's weird about it is when I worked for Magic Mountain, I was Bugs Bunny every day and I got paid like $6 an hour, I think. And I loved the job. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of my favorite jobs ever. When I took the job, I was working as a survey taker at Magic Mountain. I was going to college out there in Santa Clarita, and it was the only place I could get a job. And I really needed a weekend job. And so I got the job at Magic Mountain. Magic Mountain was always a place, it's a huge amusement park, and I love amusement parks. But the job that I was doing was the worst job ever. I had to hold this little electronic gadget. And as people came into the park, people paid like a lot of money to go there. Some people saved up for a long time to go to that park. And I had to stop randomly. I had to count 10 people or something and then just stop somebody and say, "Hey, welcome to Magic Mountain. Would you like to take a survey?" Who wants to take a survey when they're heading out, there was no gift. And I think people thought maybe if they took the survey, then I'd give them some kind of gift. Nothing. I wasn't nothing. Just, a survey. And the questions on the survey were like, how much money do you make? And what's your level of education? It was just annoying. So what I did then is I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't do this. I can't continue to take surveys in front of Magic Mountain. And so I looked around me and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to do that because I saw Bugs Bunny and there was a guard with Bugs Bunny that would guard Bugs, and they had a little radio, and I was like, I could do that. So I went and applied, and I got the job. Yep, I got the job of being Bugs Bunny immediately. I was Bugs Bunny, and I was Wile E. Coyote, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about fame. Because a lot of people, they get fame and it happens too fast and they're not ready for it. And it goes to their head. And, it went to my head. I had a lot of, alcohol problems and drug problems and, orgies and, with the costume on and it was a crazy, crazy lifestyle. I'm not going to kid you, but I learned early on that my life can't go on like this, man. I cannot go on like this. So I stopped and I learned early on. So now I'm ready for fame, and I got the experience of being famous, but I think I did some commercials And I think, when I did those commercials, I think maybe that's where you might be able to find a picture of me in the Bugs Bunny costume. I'm going to try and find one. But I think I did some commercial. I can't even tell because I had the costume on and they were like, come out here. We're going to do they called them specials. A special was when they sent you somewhere in the costume and you were Bugs Bunny. Sometimes it was really cool. Sometimes we went to, I'm not even going to touch that. Sometimes Twitch people make comments and I'm like, I'm not sure. That's why your shoes are raggedy, he says. Thanks, Grass One. I'm really glad when the Twitch people are in here. I really am. One of the things about, that's why my shoes are raggedy, probably because I made $6 an hour being, I don't know how you can even see my shoes. But anyway, so what I did was I would do these commercials or I would go on the special. And some of the specials were just so incredible, though. Because what you do is they had the Make-A-Wish special where you'd go and see some kid who was, maybe dying, or not maybe dying, some kid who was dying, and their last wish was to see Bugs Bunny. So providing that, I'd obviously do that for free. But then other times I think I did commercials. Another time, I think I went to this giant, so I went to Las Vegas and they were like, you're going to go to Las Vegas. You're going to be Bugs Bunny. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm going to go there. And so I went to Las Vegas, but again, $6 an hour. I was in this whole dance routine. I think they were announcing, I think what it was is like MIPCOM or something, or they were announcing all the new films that were going to be available to the video broadcasters out there. And so what they do is they do this whole song and dance, and they have, Warner Brothers is there and Universal and Fox and everybody is there advertising. These are the films that we are going to be distributing now. And so Bugs Bunny had to be there. And I went and I rehearsed with these dancers. And then I went on the stage and, it might be the biggest audience I have ever played in my life. Sometimes you're going along in life and you don't realize that this is like a moment, even though you're wearing a Bugs Bunny costume, you're sweating in there and you're out there. This is like a moment in life that might be a milestone of some sort. Because first of all, went out on the stage. It was pitch black and I had the big Bugs Bunny head on. And I'll tell you, you can't see crap with those things. And then there's these giant shoes that are basically made of wood. They're huge. And you walk around with those. And those were really good because people assault you when you're Bugs Bunny. Not as much as when you're Wile E. Coyote, but they do assault you. And those shoes came in handy because they were like, it was like something that, you could really kick the crap out of somebody. You really kick the crap out of somebody with those things. So they got a shock. Another shock that you could give them was if they went to shake your hand, and then a lot of times they would squeeze your hand like really tight or something like that. And usually I could squeeze harder. So that was always shocking. And then they'd be like, oh, Bugs Bunny, you hurt my hand. That's the dark side. That's the dark side of Bugs Bunny. It's even darker when you get into being Wile E. Coyote because everybody thinks you're indestructible. They because Wile E. Coyote, they put a dynamite underneath him and he, blows up and he's still fine. And that's exactly the point, Jay, is that when you're a costume character, you're not the cartoon. And that's the lesson of the whole thing. Except also, if you go out on stage in the complete darkness and there's a bunch of dancers dancing around and there's a crowd of seemingly 10,000 people, don't fall off the stage and break your neck. Okay, there we go. That's it. Don't fall off the stage and break your neck. That's the, What? Okay, so now I got to move on from this because this is a tangent. It was a tangent, but it was a good one. It was an important one. And the main thing is be enthusiastic about what you're doing because you never know what it is. You never know. You never really know where you are in time or what is actually happening, because sometimes really special moments occur. And if you're not enthusiastic about it, you might miss it. You might absolutely miss it. You play an audience. I never thought of it that way. I was fooled. I'm playing. Yeah. You play an audience. Yeah. I played an audience. You know, you play, it's a play because you're playing, and you're an actor because you're acting upon something. I don't know. There you go. There's a little lesson. You know, sometimes things are difficult before they're easy. I don't know. It's a thought I had. I think it's true. A lot of times things seem really difficult and you're like, forget it. I'm not going to do this. And you just missed the gold that's on the other side. I'm not these Twitchers, man. Ganell, handle the Twitchers in there. Handle them. I love the Twitchers. I love them being here, and I love streaming to you guys because it's really fun. But I never quite know. I don't always know what you're talking about because I'm of a different generation, I think, than most of the people in there. And so sometimes people put things on there. Like one time somebody put a picture of a frog. We're like, hey, that's a great frog. We love that frog. And it turned out it was a frog that is being used in some, I mean, it was just a cool cartoon frog, but apparently it's being used by some Aryan Brotherhood scary people or something like that. So it was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm wary of that kind of thing with you guys because I'm not as knowledgeable as you are about these things, which brings me to sea monkeys. I wanted to talk about sea monkeys. People have been asking me to talk about sea monkeys for a while, and I just wanted to bring it up because we talk about, we got Boney here. We got Boney.
That's so right on, Joel.
Yeah, you guys know Boney.
That's so right on, Joel.
Come on, Boney. God, he just tries to jump in there. Boney, everybody knows Boney. Boney came out of a traumatic childhood experience that I had, which was, one that I'll bring it up, but Monster Size Monsters. It's an ad that's in the back of the comic books, and I really wanted to get that skeleton, and I thought they were going to send me a full-on skeleton, but they didn't. It's just a poster of the skeleton. Then I bought the monster. It was just a poster of the monster. We actually have a picture of the poster. Yeah, that's what you get when you order the monster size monsters. You just get this poster. So, which makes me think, like, how did this happen that they preyed upon us in the back of the yep. I'm looking at the chat room. There's some stuff. They're talking about that meme, that Pepe the Frog thing. I don't want to get too far into it. Anyway, here I am getting distracted by the chat room, which is tough because you guys are the audience, and it's great to have audience participation because that's what this is all about. Jay Gaffney. So he put 10 dimes in an envelope. Nothing ever came. He never even got it. Me, it took 6 months to get this raggedy poster. That's what it is. It's a raggedy poster. And I'm like, who did this? Who perpetrated this? Because basically they're preying on little kids with false advertisement. That's what I thought. And that is what brings me to sea monkeys, because everybody knows that that's not they don't look like that. They don't look at, I'm going to put this full screen so that we can take a look at it, because it's just full of lies, right? Own a bowl full of happiness. Instant pets. So eager to please, they can even be trained. And, now as adults, we know those are just brine shrimp. And brine shrimp are tiny, tiny little creatures that swim around the water. And apparently, this guy, Harold von Braunhut, he's the guy that invented sea monkeys. See, you're learning something. You're learning something on this show. I knew you didn't think you would, but Harold von Braunhut, he invented sea monkeys. And yes, the sea monkeys, he made them cool looking because he he had somebody at the comic book design what the sea monkeys are going to look like. And they look super cool on there, but they're just, they're little brine shrimp. Not to put brine shrimp down, but brine shrimp are little, they got all these little, and they're just tiny and they're super small and they don't have a castle and they don't hang out and they don't hang out in the nude and it's not the same experience as advertised. And the fact is, brine shrimp, they have eggs, and the eggs can last like up to a year, and you put them in water and then the brine shrimp will hatch within a 24-hour period. So that way he could send them in the mail in a powder and you would get them. And this is he was also a magician, this guy. He was a magician. It's important to know that he was a magician. He was also an agent. Need I say more? And so what he'd do is he would have you first put in a powder that supposedly purified the water. And then you had to wait 24 hours to then put in the packet that had the sea monkeys in it. But the little switcheroo that he did, and then what would happen is the sea monkeys would come out instantly. They'd instantly be born. Well, this is a bit of showmanship that he had. The first packet actually had the sea monkeys in it, but they took 24 hours before they hatched out of these eggs. So he would act like, you were putting in the purifier, but you were actually putting in the sea monkeys. And then you had to wait 24 hours, which is just all, an eternity when you're a kid. And then you put the other stuff in, and the other stuff really just had maybe some blue dye in it. And it would actually dye the brine shrimp so you could see them swimming around. And then that was it. And then as a kid, you're just you start to get disappointment, I guess, is just a part of life. Maybe it's a lesson. Maybe it's a lesson maybe sea monkeys is just a big lesson that it's disappointing. Well, I'll tell you some more disappointing things. This is the show about enthusiasm, in case you forgot. But the more disappointing thing is he also, same guy, put out the x-ray specs. And now it started getting weird because he's telling us as kids, you could look through ladies' clothing. Imagine when you put on the x-ray specs and you hold your hand in front of you, you seem to be able to look right through the flesh and see your bones underneath. Look at your friend. Is that really his body you see under his clothes? Loads of laughs and funs at parties. So it started to get a little bit weird, wow, I don't know. What's up with this guy? And then we find out that he also marketed this. This is it's called the Cuyahoga Spring. It is actually like a billy club that you can extend all of a sudden, just whack the crap out of somebody. And the ad says you don't need a gun because you can whack the crap out of somebody with this weird portable billy club. And so now and the address on there is exactly the same as the sea monkeys. So there you go. And then to just top this off, I just wanted to tell you one other thing, and it goes back to the Pepe the Frog thing, is that this guy, Harold von Braunhut, was apparently a white supremacist. There you go. There you have it. They have some pretty good evidence, apparently, that he was involved in some kind of Aryan Nation organization. And so there. I've just killed the sea monkey myth. And I'm getting back because this is the guy that first started to market things to kids. He realized, hey, I'm trying to market these things to my parents, and I don't think that that's a good idea because I can totally swindle the kids because they believe they're not as savvy as the parents. Anyway, so ending that story, we're running out of time. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys one assignment. It's a new thing. It's called the Movie of the Month Club here on Lunch Therapy. And your assignment is to watch the movie Better Off Dead. Even if you've seen it before, which a lot of you have seen it. I've seen it many, many times. It's one of those movies that you just quote all the time. Everybody quotes it all the time. And if people haven't seen it, how are they going to live in this society? I don't know. But anyway, so see the movie Better Off Dead. There's another thing I want to do here, which I don't generally do, but I'm going to do it today because it seems like a good thing. Jonna Johnson, who's a colleague of mine, a teacher in the Chubbuck training, which is the actor training. She has a Kickstarter. I'm just going to show it to you. You guys can, check it out. It's basically called Changing the Narrative. Hopefully I can show it to you. If I can't, I'm going to put it into the live stream, the chat room, blah, blah, blah. But that's it. I'm not going to show you the video, but it's called Changing the Narrative. It's a film called Alyssa. I'll put a link, however I can do that. And Jonna Johnson, check it out. It's a good thing, I think. It's this film. She's working with an organization that's teaching African students and connecting Africa with America. And it's just check out the video. I think you'll like it. That is all for today. I am going to roll us on out with me singing a song. This is me, so I don't have to worry about Facebook banning us. It's a little Rocky Raccoon. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and peace out. Out there in the Black Mountain Hills, Dakota, lived a young boy named Rocky Raccoon. One day this woman ran off with another guy. Hit young Rocky in the eye. Rocky didn't like that. He said, I'm going to get that guy. So one day he walked into town, booked himself a room in the local saloon. Rocky Raccoon checked into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Rocky had come equipped with a gun to shoot off the legs of his rival. His rival, it seems, had broken his dreams by stealing the girl of his fancy. Her name was McGill, but she called herself Lil, and everyone knew her as Nancy. Now she and her man, who called himself Dan, were in the next room at the hoedown. Rocky bust in and grinning a grin said, Daniel boy, this is the showdown. But Daniel was hot and he drew first and shot, and Rocky collapsed in the corner. Doctor came in, stinking of gin, and proceeded to lie on the table. He said, Rocky, you mentioned match. Rocky said, Doc, it's only a scratch. I'll be better, Doc, I'll be better as soon as I'm able. Rocky Raccoon, fell back in his bed, only to find Gideon's Bible. Gideon checked out